Hi, welcome to the tutorial where we learn how to make typographic impressions or embossing and debossing in a bar of soap, for example. I have here a couple lights, a cube. Let's see. I got a cube. I've got some white type that I made with a MoText object. Just your average everyday MoText. It's got 6 centimeters of depth. Just a little extruded text there. And I want to make it look like these letters are punched into this soap, but it's got to be a little bit round, right? You don't want it to be too crisp. So what I want to do is I want to take my cube, I'm going to call this the bar of soap. And I want to take both of these things. I'm going to shift click to select both of them. And let's see if I can do it on the first try. I did. Here is where the bool is, and if I want to put both of these objects that I have selected in my object manager into a bool, I can hold down Command and Option, and it will throw both of them inside of it. I forgot to align my text first, so I'm going to put this like that. I'm going to go to my top view, and I'm going to center this thing. Okay, go back to perspective view. And okay, it's still floating above the soap, so let's do this and push that down a little bit. That's kind of a deep impression in the soap. Let's push that back up a little bit. We can, the good thing about this method that I'm showing you, rather than using like a displacement channel in the material, is that you have a lot more control, and then you can do it without making your bar of soap editable. The whole thing is non-destructive. So we have our bool, we have our text embossed. Let's just go ahead and see what that looks like. It's very sharp, right? It doesn't look like soap. Oh, the other thing is our bar of soap doesn't look like soap. So let's go in and let's click fillet. That's pretty good. That's a high quality bar of soap, right? We don't want it to be too, seems like the cheaper the soap, the larger the corner radius is. Maybe that's just something I made up. If you want, we can do it this way. Fine, I'll do it this way. Okay. Let's take our bool. We're going to put our bool in what's called a, sorry, my mind just blinked, a volume builder. So I'm going to take the bool, I'm going to hold down Option, and I'm going to click Volume Builder, and that puts my bool, oops, I just put it inside the cloner, didn't I? Let's put our bool inside of the Volume Builder. And what that does is make it look like an 80s video game. It's converted into what are called voxels. So what we need to do, right now our voxel size is 10 centimeters, which is huge, and we're going to need a much tighter, there we go, that's better. Still looks a little bit pixelated, and it depends on how fast you're getting to your soap, but if you want to get really close to it, we're going to want to go pretty tight on our pixel grid, our voxel grid rather. And see how already you can see that it looks a little bit rounded on these corners and on these edges. So that's good. Now, the trick here, the magic happens when you add a smoothing filter. Again, we're in the volume builder, we're on the object tab, we've changed the voxel size, we've reduced the voxel size, and now we're going to add an SDF smooth filter layer. That's going to put this right on top of our bool, and you can see what that does to your text, and that's fantastic. It might be a little bit much, so I'm going to select SDF smooth in the list, and I'm going to take the strength down a tiny bit. Actually, what we should do first is I should tell you about, here, let me see if I can scroll down, tell you about the different kinds of blur. There are all sorts of different blurs. Basically, what I would recommend is that you just sort of test them all out. Mean curvature hardly has any curve to it. Laplacian flow is hard to pronounce and doesn't have much curve to it. So let's just go with mean. And I'm going to bump up my strength a little bit more. That's pretty good. I like that. 92%. Let's go with 95%, just so we're not going full-blown 100%. Not that there's anything wrong with that. If you decide you want more or less filter, be my guest. So the thing about volume builders are when you render them, nothing shows up. See how there's nothing there? That's because voxels are invisible. You need to clothe them in a mesh. And what we're going to do with our volume builder is we're going to go back up here and we're going to select a volume mesher. And don't forget to hold down Option while you click volume mesher so it throws your volume builder inside of it. And check out this mesh we have. It is a lot of polygons, right? That's how much it takes to get this curve. Now, what we can do on our volume mesher is come down here under the adaptive setting and we can try out like, I don't know, 1 and see how that reduces the number of polygons. It leaves us our rounded corners. It leaves us our very rounded edges on our type. But it does reduce the polygon count somewhat. And let's go ahead and render this, Command R. That's pretty good. I don't see any artifacts. Sometimes you'll see little weird folds and tears, but that actually did a pretty good job. So I think 1% on adaptive is good. And again, adaptive matters when you don't want a lot of polygons, if you're trying to render something, an animation rather. Since these are stills you're going to render for your packaging assignment, you could probably get away with 1%. But anyway, that is how to use a bool to press letters inside of a bar of soap and to gain those rounded edges that you want when you're making a bar of soap. I think that's it. I'm going to post this on YouTube now. See you later. Bye-bye.